You're tuned in to Cosmidelic Down with your host,
Poetry legend, philosopher,
Mark Marcel.
All right. We are plugged in to the Cosmidelic Download Grammy edition, and I am with my old comrade, soldier in the trenches, grind, the state doing his poetry shit. Poet Tommy Bottoms, and he has an album out in the Grammys this year. It's called Art of Intelligence, and I've listened through some of it. I'm gonna take an even deeper dive in it, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, "That's Tommy." Tommy, that's what I know. That's that gangster intelligence. Yeah, man. Dude, man, it's good to see you, man. How you been?
Good to see you, brother. Man, life's been good, man. Life's been good. I can't complain. I'd be lying if I was saying anything else. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Dude, you were one of those that are aging beautifully, man. Dude, you
Appreciate that, bro. Hey, man, just trying to be getting in a little gym a little bit, just trying to be here a couple more years on this planet. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
man.
I ain't trying to run no 4.240 or nothing.
You looking good, man. You looking
Appreciate that.
yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah. Dude, what brought about this album, man?
Okay, so it's definitely been one of those things when they talk about you spend your life, working on something, right? And I've had other projects, but this was one that I just was like, I'm gonna sink my teeth into it. And also as the opportunities with the Grammys and all these things started to come about, I was like, okay, I really want to put something together that you know, I don't want my other pieces of product. I just wanted product.
Right,
You
right.
we were talking about the grind. You just want something to be able to sell. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that I didn't like them or nothing, but it was the motivation was more of the hand to hand, day to day grind of what it was to be a full time artist, a artist trying to eat, off of the craft. But as we were kind of speaking offline a little bit earlier, we're grown men now, and our life circumstances are different. So, I wanted to do something that represented everything up until this point, as particularly as a grown man, with a family and not necessarily as a 20-year-old anymore. You know what I mean? And I think within all of that, which is the bigger picture of it, hip hop has been going through that same evolution. The culture itself, not necessarily the music itself, but the culture as well as the demographic, the generation ages, and our worldview starts becoming different and more mature, more refined. We start wanting to reflect that. You know what I'm saying? So going back to the original question of the me wanting to start the project was wanting me to show something that reflect and the bigger picture of where we're at socially, which hence the title Art of Intelligence, which is a play on the concept of artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah.
And so my fundamental premise behind that is that um artificial intelligence, just what you were talking about, is going to do a lot of stuff better than us. Faster, quicker, better, a lot of it. However, the art of the intelligence, the creative spirit, right? I don't think that will be replaced.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the question that we deal with over the next. Because even when I started this thing, I started with a sabbatical, the recording process. I got a cabin up in the mountains, in North Georgia mountains, private chef. We had a yoga instructor, and I invited some other artists out, and we just kind of was in the mountains and vibing, creating, and that was kind of the essential theme that I was talking about, is that what we do as creatives, will be the most valuable thing moving into the future,
Yeah.
because just on a physical level, right? Robots will be able to do a lot of things, but there'll be several kind of dexterity things. People who will be able to climb and move
Right.
and duck up under those jobs will still have a place. There will still be a need for a certain level of human. And so when you expand that beyond with the mind, creativity, and the human connection,
Right.
will AI, they will, like I said, they're going to be able to do a lot of things.
Right. Yeah, dude. Sounds like I need to have you come in here and sit across from me in person
Yeah,
on one of these long form
yeah,
podcasts.
yeah. There is going to be able to do a lot of things better than us, but going to a doctor, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
People will want to still have that physical, I
Right.
need a human connection with this type of thing.
Right.
So it's not doom and gloom.
Right.
It will be a evolution. It'll be, but fundamentally, people will still, there's that human connection
Right.
that I from my perspective and what I feel and believe is that won't be able to be replicated by this thing that can do everything better than
Everything.
us.
Yeah. 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 I feel you. It's funny in talking to you. I just it made me kind of reflect and think like, art comes from error or messing up, and if AI is going to be so perfect, then it will eliminate that aspect of the art and having error, which takes
Mm.
that precious personal touch. That's what makes us human, is our imperfections. And if AI is perfect, then that it you know
What makes the Mona Lisa, right? It's been around for a long time and people still, because is it a smile?
right,
Is it a
right,
smirk?
right, you don't know
See
what
what I'm
the hell it
saying? What is it?
is.
But that's the human part of it,
Right, right,
right? That's the human part of the art, the
right,
connection, the beat, music,
right,
right?
right,
Um, James Brown's voice,
right,
right?
right,
Um, he's not a singer in the sense of
right,
Aretha Franklin or somebody that's a singer, or Luther Van. He It was that what he did with his voice. That's the human part of it.
right, right,
You can recreate the beats, maybe,
right, right.
maybe. You know what I mean? But it's some things that is part of the human connection. And I think it's that time where we really have to be conscious of that part, because it's easy to fall back on the AI.
Yeah,
It's easy to fall back on it because it makes our lives easier.
yeah, it does. It
It,
sure
it
does.
makes our lives easier.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's not, um, this is the time we got to be very cognitive of where we are, because we don't want to put ourselves out of jobs.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we
look,
kind
I've
of
been
also have
honest.
to be kind of proactive, right?
Yeah,
And the idea that, because we just think about it in the simple terms of when they talk about humans versus robots and
right,
the
right,
war between, what happens when the robots get to a certain level,
right,
right?
right.
But we still gotta fight.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
can't lay over. We
yeah,
can't. We still gotta be like, yo, we got something to add to this thing too. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's kind of the basic. And then there's the when you get into the album, there's all these other little social things. But the basic concept of the album is that idea of, like, even the album cover is kind of like a cyborg,
yeah, yeah. I love
that
it.
type
Love
of
it.
thing,
Yeah,
where it's just the idea of, this is where we're at this particular time, and it's time to really have that dialogue,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, you've always been I've always admired the combination or the merge of your intellect with the street hustle. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. It's almost like if there was a gangster academy that had 4 year uh scholarship. Like, dude, like you definitely, graduated from there, man. Because like you bring the business side to it, man. I remember like just first time seeing you in Apache, and just how you mixed in the language and the poetry, how it was always this business droppings,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
knowledge
yeah.
droppings. It was like almost like I'm like, damn, this dude runs some businesses. Like, what you trying to
Well,
do?
that's kind of I want to say my brand, but it's also kind of just what I think is so important about like how this Grammy thing is kind of metamorphosizing is uh that ability to talk to people, right? Because poets, we get on it, we're almost in the same lane as a comic, stand that comic was you and your, but it's also the ability to be accessible to a broader audience,
Right,
and so that's so what I talk about or is I try to take things that uh a PhD economist or sociologist might sit around and talk about, but also make it accessible
right. For the common folk.
for someone else who kind of get these, bigger, broader. They're
Right,
not going, read, Thomas Sowell or all these, economists or whatever. But so that with music is the same thing when you add like some people will accept poetry or spoken word in a certain atmosphere, a certain venue. They come to a spot, listen to it. But they
yeah,
might not necessarily listen to like an a cappella version of someone performing while they're driving in the car.
right, right,
It just kind of takes a level of accessibility, just not taking away from the art itself, but just how people consume art. You
right.
know what I'm saying? How they, you know, people don't buy CDs anymore. It's just they
Exactly.
consume it different. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still do it. It's how they consume it.
yeah.
So it's the same thing as I like spoken word, but I don't just say ride around it to it in my daily life or while I'm washing, cleaning the house or at the gym. So when we talk about adding music and and my risk going back to the original concept of the album, I wanted it to be like I wanted people to listen to it in the sense of like they were listening to a podcast.
Right,
It was really meant for it to go all the way through, but
right,
commercially you got to chop it all up. But
right,
it
right,
was meant for it the same concept of taking these things of a long because some people aren't going to listen to an hour long power cops,
right,
but a lot of people do. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right,
Uh, but so they chop them up in segments,
right,
5 minute things, but
right,
you make it accessible to the people who aren't going to listen to 3 hours. Joe Rogan does a 3 hour podcast. Nobody's listening to 3 hours.
right. Exactly,
You see what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
chop up the pieces that people want to see so I can die. There are people who will listen for 3 hours. Or your shows, you said you do an hour, hour and a half. There are people who
Yeah,
enjoy long form. I'm one of them. I enjoy long form content, right?
right, right, right,
And but some people,
right,
you would be a fool not to be able to chop it up
right,
and feed these people too. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right. Maximize on all fronts while you can.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I see it. Is I have I mean I got stuff rolling around in my head like anybody else. You know what I mean? So and you want to just get it out, and spoken word has just been that kind of platform that I use to get it out my head. You know.
Yeah. Well, dude, tell me some of the pieces on this album. I tell people, when you're making an album, there's certain pieces on the album that make the album. Like
Mhm,
we all
mhm.
put process of elimination on the album. Like,
Absolutely,
do you
absolutely.
think that's going to make it? But what are like the core pieces on here that if these pieces were not on this album would not be what it is?
It's interesting you said that. So there's a joint called Willie Lump Lump, right? It's and the beat itself, it ended up being people. like really mess with this particular joint, and I'd be like, man, I almost didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't think because for me, when you're talking about spoken word and the type of where I come from, my particular way that I approach it, um, I try to keep the music where what I'm saying is still the focal point of what you're hearing, and the music is kind of the in the background, although still present. But what I'm saying, you don't get lost in the beat. Hopefully, that
Right.
was my intention, right?
Right.
This particular joint, Willie Lump Lump, I love the music of it, the beat of it, but I was like, but it ended up being one of my favorites because for people know I don't do a lot of love poetry. You know what I'm saying? That's not really my lane.
Right.
But this was something about my wife. You know what I mean? So it was, and how we met, and then like it was. So it's kind of grown on me. At first, I didn't really like it. I don't want to say like it. That might be.
It just wasn't one of your favorites. It
It
wasn't.
wasn't, but yeah. But it was like the more I listened to it, and the more people like fast they won that they like, because I wasn't expecting that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's that, and I think that's the other surprise. Like when you put things out into the world,
Right.
you have no idea how it's going to land, where it's going to land, who's going to like it, who's the thing that you think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the one people gonna mess with. Might be the one ain't nobody even checking for.
I
You
know.
know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but that's the beauty of like the creative process is so dope. Is that you create this thing, right? But the second part of the creative process, which is the hardest,
Yeah.
is putting it out to the world,
Yeah.
and because that's the vulnerable part. Because
Yeah.
so many people let their work sit on a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the best I've seen all type of creatives who are
Right.
monsters, whether it's singing, making music, whatever it is, poetry, and it just never goes because now I'm up for critique,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm up for somebody saying I like this and I don't like that, and that for a lot of people that's hard. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of people, so they rather just stack it up on the hard drive and they have it. But I'm a person. I've also dabbled in some documentaries, and and one thing I say is that anybody who starts a project and you complete that project and you put it out, you won.
Yeah. Yeah. Respect.
You won. You won.
Yeah. For real. No. You
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Right. 100.
You won because
100
so many people,
have ideas and
they never bring it to fruition.
yeah.
Once you know how hard it is to make a movie.
Yeah. Exactly. I do. I animated.
You see what I'm saying? You know how hard it is to make a movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Fuck if it's. I'm sorry if you can't cook.
No. No.
Forget if it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Forget
Yeah.
about that part of it.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
take that out
Exactly.
of it.
Exactly.
You started something and you finished it and you put it out.
Yeah. And you put it out. Yeah. Exactly.
Putting it out is the hardest part.
It is.
So-
It is. It is. No. 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 Yeah. You're exactly right. For real.
Yeah.
Man. Well, dude, I'm glad you definitely started. I'm glad. I'm glad you definitely started, and completed this project and put it out. And where do you see your next steps after the album?
Well, so like I mentioned earlier, the the process of the album is kind of supposed to be like its own little story within a story.
Right.
So eventually, once I get some time, I'm going to turn into like a 1 man hour long thing that I'll be able to travel with. I'm just we in this Grammy campaign right now, but
I know, man. I know.
but that's the thing, because I feel like I one thing about it is I really believe in the product and in the project itself. So
Right.
I can't wait to share it with the world. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just in this middle of this right now. So that's the next evolution of it. Because like I got the people in the album are part of the bigger collective I mess with is called Westmore Drive,
Yeah.
and it's got people like Abyss and Georgia Me and my homeboy Red Storm. So I also, even though I'm on the tour, I also want to be able to bring the essence of this thing, that also I think connects with people and other people. And but I think it's a solid piece of product that can, play in your car, and you can also, buy a ticket, come see it in a theater, and
Yeah.
and get that type of experience as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's dope. Shout out to Abyss, Georgia, and Rev for real,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, where can they find the album and where are your social links and let them know, man. And
So it's on, like probably most people, my joints available on all of the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever your particular thing is. My social media is Educated Gangster 101. That's regular English. GA, not gangster. GANGSTER 101. And I definitely appreciate y'all hitting me up on there. I actually also have a couple of videos out, so floating around somewhere. One of them is called Stupid Prizes, other called 1984. You might see them, but they're also part of the album as well. But Educated Gangster 101 is the social media, and the album is called Art of Intelligence, and my name is Tommy Bottoms.
that's what's
And I
up, man.
appreciate y'all, man.
Dude, tell me, dude, it was great having you, man, for real, man. It's great
Hey,
connecting.
absolutely, bro. We go way back, man. So this is a good little, little circle around.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we do, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Well, respect to you, man. Good luck to you in the present and in the future, man. And I'm glad to have spent the years with you, to be here with you now, man. And
Absolutely.
we are going to unplug from the system.
Hey, Godspeed with you as well, bro. Peace.
Cosmidelic download.